She burst out laughing and said, "You seriously believed someone like me would ever settle for someone like you?" Her friends were practically choking with laughter behind her. I forced a calm smile and answered, "Perfect. Then this will be the final time you ever have to lay eyes on me." That same night, a Snapchat from her closest friend arrived that turned my blood to ice. "Dear friends, please hit that subscribe button. It means the world to me and keeps me motivated. Thank you so much. I'm 27 now, and until about 3 months ago, I genuinely thought I had everything under control. I'd been with Cassidy for nearly 4 years. We met at a mutual friend's birthday celebration, and from the very first moment, I was completely hooked. She had this electric presence, the kind of woman who enters a room and instantly becomes the center of gravity. Me. I'm just an ordinary guy. Over the years, I'd managed to save a solid amount. I wasn't loaded, but I was doing all right financially. Cassidy worked part-time at a trendy boutique in the city and constantly talked about launching her own clothing brand one day. I was all in on that dream. I covered almost every date we went on, helped with rent whenever she fell short, and last year for her birthday I surprised her with the BMW she'd been dreaming about. She burst into tears when I handed her the keys. She told me I was the greatest thing that had ever happened to her. In hindsight, I realize how blind I was. Things started falling apart roughly 2 months ago. I'd noticed she was growing colder, always glued to her phone, smirking at messages she refused to let me see. When I asked who she was texting, she'd brush it off with just the girls or stuff from work. I trusted her completely. Why wouldn't I? We'd been together for years. Then came that Saturday night, June 17th. I remember the exact date because it was meant to be our anniversary celebration. I'd booked a table at this fancy Italian restaurant she'd been dying to try. The deposit alone cost me more than $300. I arrived at her place at 7 p.m. on the dot, dressed in the suit she always said looked good on me. She opened the door wearing sweatpants and a cropped tank top. No makeup, hair thrown up in a messy bun. "Oh," she said flatly. She didn't even look ashamed. "I forgot to mention I'm heading out with the girls tonight. Can we do a rain check?" I stood there like a fool holding a bouquet. "Cassidy, I booked this place 3 weeks ago. It's our anniversary." She rolled her eyes. "Babe, anniversaries are just a scam created by corporations. We can celebrate any time." Before I could say another word, I heard laughter coming from inside the apartment. Female voices. I knew exactly who they were, her friends Brittany and Zoe. They'd never hidden their dislike for me. They were always dropping little digs about how Cassidy was way out of my league, how she should be with someone who actually had drive. Brittany appeared behind Cassidy holding a cocktail. "Oh wow, he actually came. Cass, I thought you said you were taking care of this." "Taking care of what?" I asked. Cassidy let out an exaggerated sigh like I was the one being dramatic. "Look, I didn't plan to do this tonight, but I think we need a break." "A break? On our anniversary?" "See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You're so needy, I need room to figure out what I really want." Zoe shouted from the couch. "Honestly, Cass has been miserable for months. She was just too kind to say it to your face." My cheeks burned. "If you were unhappy, why didn't you tell me? Why let me believe everything was fine?" Cassidy folded her arms. "Because you're overly sensitive. I didn't want to hurt you." "So you're hurting me now on our actual anniversary?" Brittany actually laughed out loud. "Dude, read the room. She's moved on from you. It happens." I looked at Cassidy, waiting for her to tell her friends to back off, to defend me even a little. She didn't. She just stood there biting her lip and staring at the floor. "So that's it, 4 years and you're finished?" "I think it's for the best," she mumbled. "You deserve someone who truly values you. And clearly that's not you." She said nothing. I left the flowers on her doorstep and walked to my car. As I drove off, I could still hear them cackling inside. Brittany's voice floated out the open window. "Oh my God, did you see his face? He looked like a lost puppy." More hysterical laughter. I drove aimlessly for 2 hours before heading home. Never even canceled the reservation, just let it go. Update 1: the following week I was a wreck, called in sick to work twice. Couldn't sleep, barely ate. I kept replaying that night over and over, trying to figure out where I went wrong. I sent Cassidy a few texts asking if we could talk. She left every single one on read. 8 days after the breakup, I got a message from an unknown number. "Hey, it's Lauren, Cassidy's friend. We need to talk. Can you meet me at Greystone Coffee tomorrow at 2? Lauren. I'd met her a couple of times at parties. She was quieter than the rest of the group, always seemed decent. I had no idea why she wanted to meet, but I was desperate for any clarity. I showed up 15 minutes early, ordered a black coffee I never touched, and took a table in the far corner. Lauren walked in right on time, looking anxious and constantly checking the door. "Thanks for coming," she whispered as she sat down. "What's going on?" She hesitated, then slid her phone across the table. "I have to show you something, but please swear you won't tell Cassidy it came from me." "Show me what?" She opened Instagram and pulled up Cassidy's story from the night of our anniversary. There was a video, Cassidy at a high-end club downtown, grinding on some guy I'd never seen. Tall, sharp jawline, expensive jacket. His hands were all over her waist while she laughed and kissed his neck. Timestamp: 10:47 p.m., less than 4 hours after she ended things with me. "Who is that?" I barely managed to ask. "His name is Cameron. He owns a few restaurants in the city. Cassidy has been seeing him for about 2 months. 2 months, while we were still together, while I was still paying her bills." "Why are you telling me this?" Lauren looked genuinely upset. "Because it's wrong. Cassidy is my friend, but what she did to you is disgusting. She used you for money while already planning her exit with this guy. Now she's going around telling everyone you were a dull, clingy boyfriend, and she finally upgraded." Those were her exact words at brunch last Sunday. "Brittany and Zoe were dying laughing about how easy you were to string along." I felt like someone had kicked me in the chest. Lauren reached out and touched my hand. "I'm so sorry. You deserved way better." I thanked her, walked out, and sat in my car staring at nothing for 20 minutes. Then I went full detective on social media. Cassidy had made her Instagram private, but her tagged photos were still visible. I found Cameron's profile, public of course. Pictures of the two of them went back 7 weeks. Luxury dinners, weekend getaways, him gifting her designer pieces. One photo from 3 weeks ago showed her wearing a diamond necklace I'd never seen. Caption: "When bae spoils you just because red." I had paid her phone bill that exact same week. Update 2: the next few days I did what any dignified person would do, absolutely nothing useful. Called out of work again, ordered enough takeout to feed a family of 6, became a professional stalker of Cameron's grid. The guy posted everything. 34 years old, owned 3 upscale restaurants, drove a Tesla Model S Plaid. The post that really broke something in me was from 6 weeks ago, him and Cassidy at a rooftop lounge. Caption: "Sometimes you meet someone who reminds you what butterflies feel like. New chapter, upgrade complete." Upgrade complete, like I was an old operating system. Then the rage turned into cold, hard clarity. I opened my banking app and started adding up everything I'd spent on Cassidy in the last 12 months alone. Rent help, car payments, insurance, dates, gifts, that Miami birthday trip she begged for, total just over $37,000. $37,000. I stared at the screen until the numbers blurred. I had been systematically drained, and she was out there bragging about it. That's when I decided I was done being the pathetic ex. I messaged a college buddy who's now a lawyer and asked a hypothetical about getting expensive gifts back after a breakup. He said it's almost impossible, but he referred me to a shark named Patricia who handles exactly these kinds of messy situations. Patricia was in her mid-50s and had clearly heard every story in the book. I told her everything. She listened, scribbling notes, occasionally lifting an eyebrow so high it nearly touched her hairline. "So let me make sure I have this right," she said when I finished. "You have receipts for roughly $37,000 in gifts and financial support. You have proof she was cheating for months, and you want what exactly?" "I want my money back," she leaned back. "Legally, you can't sue someone for emotional damages in a dating relationship, but the car. You said it's still titled and financed in your name." "Yes, her credit was trash, so everything is under me." Patricia actually smiled for the first time. "Now that, my friend, is something we can definitely work with." Update 3: the repossession happened on a Thursday morning. I coordinated directly with the lien holder and a licensed towing company. 100% legal since the vehicle was solely in my name, and I was the only one making payments. According to the tow driver, Cassidy ran outside in her pajamas at 8:47 a.m. and let out an actual scream when she saw the empty parking space. She immediately started blowing up my phone. 7 missed calls in 10 minutes, then the texts came flooding in. "Where the hell is my car? You psycho, this is theft. I'm calling the cops right now." I waited a full hour before replying. "It was never your car. It's in my name, I paid for it, I insure it, and I make every payment. You're welcome for the free ride for the last year." She called instantly. I picked up. "You cannot just steal my car," she shrieked. "I needed to get to work. Then maybe don't cheat on the guy who was paying for it." "That was after we..." Lauren showed me the club video, Cassidy, same night, and Cameron's posts go back 2 months before you ended things. You used me plain and simple. Silence. Did Cameron even know I existed while you two were jetting off on weekends? More silence. That's what I thought. Go ask your new boyfriend to buy you a car. I hung up. She called 14 more times. I blocked her. Next came a text from Brittany. You're being ridiculously immature. It's just a car. Cassidy is crying and stranded. You're destroying her life over a breakup. Get over it. I replied. Tell Cassidy to ask Cameron for an Uber. Or better yet, explain to him why her ex was still paying for her BMW while she was dating him. Brittany went radio silent. Final update: 3 days after the repo, I got a text from another unknown number. Hey man, this is Cameron. I think we should talk. Things are getting crazy. Curiosity won. I agreed to meet him at the Starbucks near my apartment. He rolled up in his Tesla, dressed like he was about to shoot a cologne ad. Exactly the kind of guy I expected. Look, he started, I didn't know you existed until the car thing. Cassidy told me she was single when we met. She very much wasn't. Yeah, I realize that now. He rubbed his neck awkwardly. I just wanted to say sorry, man to man. I wouldn't have touched her if I'd known. I studied him for a second. He actually seemed sincere. Did she ever mention that I was bankrolling her entire life while you two were eating $300 dinners? His eyes widened. What, rent, phone bill, insurance, the car you just saw disappear, all me. I pulled up a few bank transfers on my phone and slid it across the table. His face lost color. She told me she was completely independent. She works 20 hours a week at a boutique. I was her independence. Cameron looked like he was going to be sick. After a long pause, he said, She's been asking me for money the past week. Said she had unexpected expenses. Car payment, rent, random bills. Let me guess, around the same time her free BMW vanished. He pulled up his Venmo and showed me. He'd sent her $1,200 in the last 10 days. I feel like a complete moron, he muttered. Welcome to the club. I paid membership dues for 4 years. He actually laughed a little, then looked at me with something close to respect. What are you going to do now? I already did it. Got my car back, blocked her, moving on. You might want to ask yourself how long you want to date someone who lies that effortlessly. He nodded slowly. Yeah, I think we're done. He stood up, paused, then added, just so you know, she's telling everyone you're a stalker and harassing her. Of course she is. He extended his hand. I really am sorry, bro. I shook it. Not your fault. You got played too. It's been almost 6 weeks since everything exploded. I'm back at work full-time and actually just got promoted with a nice raise. Sold the BMW to a dealership and recouped about 60% of what I'd put in. Word from mutual friends is that Cameron dumped Cassidy 2 days after our coffee chat. Apparently, when he confronted her about the money and the overlapping relationships, she tried to paint me as the abusive, controlling ex. He didn't buy it. Cassidy tried one last time to reach me 3 weeks ago, using Lauren's phone. The message said she wanted to talk like adults and clear the air. I left her on read. Lauren told me Cassidy lost her boutique job because she kept missing shifts without a car, had to move back in with her parents, and Brittany and Zoe have quietly distanced themselves now that the whole story is out. I don't take pleasure in her downfall, I'm not that guy, but I don't lose sleep over it either. Actions have consequences. 2 weeks ago I matched with a girl named Rachel on Hinge. She's an elementary school teacher. We've been on 3 dates so far, nothing serious yet, but she's real in a way I forgot people could be. She insists on splitting the bill every time. She texts when she says she will. It feels healthy. I'm not magically healed. 4 years of your life doesn't just disappear. But I'm getting there day by day. The biggest lesson: someone who truly loves you will never treat you like a walking wallet with emotions. They won't mock you with their friends about how easily they can manipulate you. They won't discard you the moment someone flashier comes along. I deserved better than Cassidy. And honestly, she got exactly what she had coming. Edit 1. A lot of people asked if I ever recovered any of the other money. Short answer: no, gifts are gifts in the eyes of the law. The car was the only thing I could legally reclaim because it was never actually hers. Edit 2. Yes, I know $37,000 is an absurd amount to spend on a girlfriend. Believe me, I know now. It didn't feel that way at the time. Just a bunch of small favors that snowballed while I was too in love and too dumb to see I was being used. Lesson learned the hardest way possible.